Hello everybody and welcome back to Crusader Kings, where last episode, our wife died, and that's a problem, because we need her stewardship expertise to give us domain limit. So let's go ahead and find a new one, and I would normally go for her, except that she's a Duchess of Mazovia, which means that she's landed, which means that she would not be an available spouse. Unfortunately, that means our next best option is only stewardship level 19. This means that we're almost certainly going to be at 11 of 10 at best. Well, let's see how it goes. Yep, 11 of 10. Okay, so in that case, we're going to need to give Erdenet back to a low noble. It's definitely not ideal, but it's what we gotta do. So we could ransom this guy this lady for 20 gold, and sure, I would actually be happy to do that. Can we ransom any other prisoners? Up to 3. Okay. We definitely could use the cash because we are still trying to upgrade some of these castles, including the one that we just gave out. Oppressed claim on our throne? What a jerk. Okay, well, that's fine. We do need to deal with our vassal limit, though. That is a big, big deal. Sorry, I'm slightly distracted. I just heard a bunch of sirens. I'm not sure what's going on out there, but I don't know. We had a big storm last night, so maybe there's a fire from a downed power line or something. Regardless, I've got power, and things seem to be pretty safe here right now, but we'll keep an eye on that going forward. So we'll just go ahead and tick forward here. We need some additional cash, and we do want to deal with this vassal limit issue. So to that end, let's think about what we might want to do there. What is the de jure kingdom title here? Okay, this should all be under the de jure kingdom of Mongolia, which we do hold. So we've got 3 dukes underneath us here. We could theoretically grant this duke, though, out to Tuva, and I actually think that I'm going to do that. So we're going to grant vassal. Oh, he's at war with a vassal? What a jerk. He is. What a jerk. Okay, in that case, we'll see about maybe giving him this vassal. Hey, that one works. Okay, cool. So that gets us down to 3 direct vassals. And what else could we potentially work on? Anything down over this way? Yes, actually, there's a couple of counties here. And I wouldn't necessarily mind this. What is this khanate? Are you elsewhere? No. Wait, I'm confused. Oh, up here. Okay. That makes more sense. That makes a lot more sense. Okay. So we probably want to give that to... Yeah, this guy has a lot more power. We're going to give it to this guy. So we're going to grant this vassal on over. And we're going to grant this vassal on over. There we go. Fantastic. That gets us down to 1 direct vassal above our limit. What other options would we have? We could give out this duchy potentially to this khanate. And this would be a better khanate to give it to. So we'll do that. Perfect. No problem. They can fight over the de jure borders amongst themselves later on. We don't mind. So that'll be just fine. When can we sell minor titles and extort subjects? Not for another 2 to 3 years each. Okay. So looking at these castles, there are a number of upgrades that we could still do. And I would be interested in doing those upgrades. I mean, there's camp cooks right here in our capital. We may as well. But what we really need right now is a cash infusion, more than anything. Keep in mind, we're also working on these castles down over this way, and some of them, well, they're mostly maxed out for their current tech level, but ones like this, not so much. So that's something to think about. We could also think about going to war with a minor war, something like fighting just for this spot right here. Where else is this guy? Is this his only location? Hang on. He'd have access to about 11k troops. This is disgusting border core. So maybe we should do this. We'll go ahead and declare that. Now, we're going to need to raise a decent number of troops, and we'll have to raise them back a little ways. I'm not going to get greedy with this. We'll raise up our men-at-arms, and we're also going to raise up about 12 to 15,000 levy troops. Okay, so he's marching out over this way. That's fine. He hired a holy order and got his ally in. Sounds good to me. Okay, so we're going to, like I said, raise up 12 to 15k. We'll see how much we actually end up with here. 9k. No, don't move. Stop that. 10k. Okay, 12.5k. That's good enough. Now, these guys have not arrived yet. But what we're going to do is we're going to leave behind this force. And then we're going to head out over this way. We're waiting for our men-at-arms to show up. Okay. And now we're going to split off our mangonels, and everyone else is going to come join us over here. Wait, who's actually moving here? Wrong one. Okay. They can group up there, I guess. And, these guys are going to move over here. And then our mangonels are going to move in over here. Okay, there we go. Got slightly confused there, but it's under control. Fantastic. Okay, so this force here, not this force. Let's just wait for these guys to move. It'll be a lot less confusing. There. These guys are going to group up. They're going to go in and attack. These guys are going to group up. They're going to get a commander, and their commander should be like this guy who's got the military engineer trait. This guy is actually a better commander for this force, so we'll have him do that. And then we're going to come in over this way and begin our siege. Okay. This is a pretty free war here, and you can see we're still making cash, and that's always good to see. Now, we are going to fight with our siege force here, but that's only a matter of circumstance. That was a stack wipe, and we do expect that this one may be a stack wipe as well. Let's see. It was indeed. Okay, these guys can stop their movement and go back up to the capital. Actually, we kind of don't need them to exist anymore, but we'll keep them around because there is an ally. Where is that ally? Up over here. I don't care. That's fine. We're up to 34% war score at this time, and now we're going to siege here, and then these guys, they're going to hop out over this way and just not take attrition. That's going to be the plan. So we're going to move them out here, and then they'll split in half. No big deal. Okay, so we're going to split this in half, and we're going to send half of their troops over here. We do have a stewardship perk available, and we could take centralization. Actually, the development growth would be fantastic, so we're definitely going to do that. And this should end this war. In theory. There we go. And we will then, of course, go ahead and enforce our demands. Disband our troops. We'll grant this out to this guy. And then, let's see, we should be able to usurp the title or create the title? Or do we have the title? Hang on. What's going on with the title here? Avanti. Not created yet. Okay. We'll create this title. That goes to this guy, and we will grant him the Duchy of Avanti. One count goes with, and that actually puts us at a correct level for our number of vassals. I'm slightly surprised because we've got 2 duchies over here. What's the kingdom situation over here? Actually, Malwa could be almost created. We don't quite have enough. We need to expand down this way. So that's definitely something to think about. And apparently get some hiccups. Fantastic. Perfect timing for that. I'm not surprised about that. Okay. So we're going to come on down over here, see if there's anything we can sort out. Yes, actually, this is in our vassal here. Yeah, we're going to give this to Finland over here. No problem. Excellent. Our sister died. Sure. That's, actually, we didn't gain stress from that, so it doesn't matter. I mean, I'm sure she was a useful political tool. I mean, yeah, it's very tragic. Very, very tragic. We're going to continue these upgrades as soon as we get yet another month tick here. Which will happen momentarily. There we go. Excellent. And very soon now, we're going to be able to sell our minor titles. That'll give us another good cash infusion to keep upgrading our castles. We're getting a good amount of monthly income, and how far are we from royal prerogative at this point? We're only 8 years away. Okay. I should have probably gone for the piety there, but we're a religious icon. It doesn't matter whether we go for prestige or piety, honestly. Both are fine. Our malaria sphere is 12 years away, not like we care. But at least that's something that won't be able to be focused again. Okay, so the promote culture task down here has finished up. That is great, and we are going to promote culture here. That's the last location that we need to promote culture in our second duchy. And of course, we do want to expand our domain limit by 5. I don't know how realistic that is. Actually, no, 6. We want to expand it by 6. Because there's these 2, and then there's these 3, and then this one. Yeah, that's a lot. 6 is a lot. There's no doubt about it. However, we can go ahead and sell our minor titles. It gives unpredictable results, so let's see what happens. In the meantime, we will upgrade our stone barracks here. How rude. Okay, that's fine. Mumo is going to get some camp cooks. And aviaries over here. And let's see, training fields. And we're out of cash. Excellent. We do need a new steward, and that will then be this guy. 3 years on converting this culture. Sounds great to me. Of course, once we get royal prerogative, we're going to start moving our way up the crown authorities, and that's going to be a very big deal for us. Like, that's going to be a huge power spike. We gain the trait Poet, Journaler, or just lose 12 stress. Poet would give additional stress loss and diplomacy per level of fame. Journaler would give us learning +1 and more stress loss, and we're going to take that. Excellent. Reason we're doing that is I don't care about our diplomacy skill right now. It's not great. I'm more interested in our stewardship, although our player heir, he's going to have some spicy stewardship levels. That's for sure. He does have great traits, though, so I'm quite pleased about that. Our marshal just died, and we'll put this guy in. He's actually pretty good at the job, so that'll be great. He is organizing levies, and we're just doing that to appear more strong on paper right now than we actually are. Just to prevent people from factionalizing. And actually, we're kind of weaker on paper than we actually are. I feel like we're weaker on paper than our actual power level. Like, sure, we've got 50,000 troops, and sure, that's a lot. But, I mean, I really do feel like we're more powerful than that. Like, we've been able to handily win against 100,000 plus armies, right? So there is that. I would like to ransom off prisoners if we've got any to ransom, and we do have 3. So that'll net us a little bit of gold. Always good. And let's see what we've got for constructions. Excellent. There's another one. And we're going to be done upgrading our castles really quite soon at this rate. We do need more cash infusions, and extorting our subjects is the way that we're going to do that, but that's not going to be for another year or so. We should also think about some stress loss. We are a journaler, so we're just going to write some thoughts down here. And lose 28 stress. Perfect. And yeah, we could do these things for stress loss as well, but they cost money, and I'm not currently interested in spending money. However, upgrading these aviaries, that I'm interested in doing. I realize that's spending money, but that spends money to make money, and that is very, very useful for us right now. So you can see that our domain is currently making about 25% of our income. Our vassals are currently getting us about 30% of our income. I'm rounding here. These are rough estimates. And our church holdings, well, those are getting us about 60% of our income. I know that those numbers aren't 100%. I know that it doesn't add up. But Like I said, very rough estimates here. The point is we're making about twice as much from church holdings as we are from domain and vassal taxes, and that needs to change. Specifically, our vassals need to... That guy had smallpox. Okay. That's not necessarily a good thing, but our vassals need to contribute more. That's my point. Aviary's there, so we should definitely make sure our succession is in order. And it is. So if we get smallpox, it's not the end of the world. Sounds good. Okay. Now, we're looking for additional border core, and I know that everything is border core, but we're looking for particularly egregious border core. Things like this. This guy has no allies. Honestly, let's just take Discount's claim. Yeah, it costs a lot more prestige, but I don't care because I don't have to deal with giving out another vassal. So let's go ahead and just raise up our men-at-arms here. We shouldn't need any more than that, and they'll head on in eventually. It says 9 months. We'll see if it actually takes that long. He may come and stack wipe this. I'm being greedy here. We'll see. There's 0 troops here, though, until they all show up at once, and when they all show up at once, he can't fight us anymore, so it doesn't actually matter. It'll probably take 9 months for, like, 1 night to get here, is my guess. But many of these... Oh, what a jerk. Many of these are going to get here a lot sooner than that, I think. It's usually somewhere like 3 to 4 months. That said, this is pretty far away from our capital. So that is a thing. I do wish they had gone with the route that I talked about back before they fixed the teleporting men-at-arms, which was, granted, a big problem with the game. I do think that they needed to do something about that. But what I wanted them to do was to essentially set up a base of operations. Control level in our capital. You know what? That's okay. We'll get it back. So, like I was saying, I would like to set up a base of operations for our men-at-arms, like rally points, but there's a cooldown on moving it of, like, I don't know, maybe 5 years. And then they work from that location rather than from your capital. I think that that would have been a more flexible way to fix the teleporting men-at-arms problem. Regardless, our men-at-arms are here. We're not going to wait for all of our knights. We're just going to go in. It's no problem. We finished construction in our capital, and I probably should have zoomed out a little bit further. That said, we have a smallpox outbreak, and we need a doctor. So we are, we're definitely going to spend money on that. So there we go, and we are going to build levying grounds. Excellent. We, of course, won the battle over here. And we'll imprison these guys. Okay. This is our daughter here. We don't necessarily care about her, but we're just... Does he also have smallpox? No, he's just scaly. That's just his natural appearance. Okay. We're going to be cautious, and her health is good, honestly, even with the smallpox, so that should be fine. Reduce disease symptoms. Okay, she's down to poor health, but... she should be okay, I think. So we do need a new chancellor, and this Khan will be that chancellor. We're going to finish up this siege, and of course, this will finish up this war. That smallpox outbreak is getting a bit spicy. We'll enforce those demands, disband our troops, no problem. Got that border core cleaned up. Excellent. So we're just going to be focusing on small little wars like that for a little while here while we continue to work on upgrading our castles. It will take a few more years for us to upgrade these castles, but we are getting close. Our main limiting factor right now is funds. But that said, we are doing a lot better on funds than we were in the past, so that is good. Our daughter has indeed recovered from smallpox, and I'm not surprised by that. That is completely and totally expected. We can negotiate a few alliances. I don't really care. Okay, yep. Reduced disease symptom is good. We're going to ransom out some characters from our dungeons for some sweet, sweet cash. We're going to use that cash, of course, to continue upgrading our castles. We will decline this invitation right now. I don't necessarily want to spread smallpox all over. So that'll be fine. We should probably work on our control level in our capital since we did sell some of that off. So let's go ahead and increase control in our capital. That won't take too long. That'll take 18 months to max back out. And then we'll go back to organizing our levies most likely. Unless it really looks like we don't need to. But, I mean, a 28% increase is pretty huge. The Stockdeer's been doing a pretty good job, and we're going to extort our subjects here. Control in Mumo? Or just county extorted? Well, that's the obvious option. Okay, so that's only 300 gold. Not ideal, but it'll do. We will go ahead and build barracks here. And we're going to need to build stone barracks over here as soon as we can. That said, there are cheaper upgrades to be done. And so let's go ahead and build watch posts over here. We do have some of these castles, like Bayan Nur over here, getting very close to being maxed out. So that's great. Nobody's actually died from this smallpox outbreak yet that I know of. And we haven't gotten the smallpox yet. Hopefully we won't. Our son has recovered. Our daughter has recovered. But I mean, this outbreak is going to keep going for a while. There's no doubt about that. And there's not a huge amount that we can do about it. If we happen to die to it, that's fine. I don't really care that much. Let's go ahead and... I mean, this would all be very good. Let's go down the Taxman route here. Taxman isn't amazing for us, to be clear, but we want to go down towards getting additional domain limit. That would be good. I mean, our overall troop count isn't looking too terrible. Quick question. This is not 28% reduction. However, this would be a 28% reduction if we're not counting the levies provided by our vassals, which would make sense if this increase here is only domain levies. Now, if that's the case, which I believe right now that it is the case, then I think this tooltip needs to reflect that it's only domain levies and that realm levies are not counted in that. It would make sense for that to be the case, to be clear. That said, it would also make sense for it not to be. I can see it both ways there. Reason being, the Marshal of the Realm, his job is, yes, to organize the levies in our territories here, but his job would also be to coordinate with powerful vassals in particular to make sure that their levies are also in good working order. So that would be like a two-tier sort of thing, right? Where maybe it would depend on... And this is not how the game works, to be clear. This is not how the game works. But that would be like a two-tier thing where if he exceeds a particular martial score, if he's so good at the job, he goes above and beyond and does the benefit of increasing like half of this bonus going to increasing the levies that we receive from our vassals. That would be really interesting, actually. You'd have to balance quite a lot to make that happen. Like, I'm not talking like balancing in the game. I'm talking about you'd have to balance what you want them to do based on their current skill level. As it is, their skill level just kind of means that all of these things are like the same efficacy. I don't know. It would be interesting. But that's not how the game works. Let's go ahead and get this castle up here maxed out. That'll be fine. Our counselor died of the Great Pox. Okay, and that was our marshal. He was doing a pretty good job, but we do need a different guy, and it'll be this Khan. Excellent. So as far as upgrades down over here go, I mean, we're prioritizing our own castles first, for sure. But a number of these are getting close to maxed out here, even though they're not entirely maxed out, although these two are. Not even close in our capital. Okay, we just inherited this barony back. 500 gold for this guy's feudal taxes to come up? You know what? He'll accept our alterations or else. We'll see what happens there. We do need to hand this back to a different low noble. And we'll also upgrade our training fields over here. Excellent. And with that, it is time to put a cut in here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode... Hey, we succeeded. Next episode, we will continue working on these upgrades and cleaning up a little bit of border core. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and I will see you all next time.